So Data Alchemist, this is the final closing ceremony. So let's take a step back. It's hard to believe it's just been a few weeks, but when we initially conceptualized this idea, the idea was that there's potentially a recession or some macro change happening next year. And let's empower a couple of 100 people to pull us out of this recession. So really lofty, ambitious goals. And we put this initial thing out, and I was expecting 50 people to sign up. That's great. That would be like our bar for success. We've never done anything like this. What ended up happening is in the first hour, I think it was like 100 people, and I'm talking not just 100 submissions, 100 people with the resumes and video 1-minute video interviews, and then 100 became 200. And then someone on the team was like, should we shut down the submissions? I said, no, we should not shut down the submission. We should up our bar. Let's make it 1,000. And so it goes to 300 and 400, and then there was like press, and then suddenly there was it was like nonstop. And then I think the final count was about 1,200, and then we shut it down because 1,200 is enough for like session one. Wasn't sure if Increment would even handle more than 10 concurrent queries. So that was a lot of work on our side. We didn't want to bite off more than we could chew. And so Brandon, some of you guys have seen his calendar. He basically had 70 interviews every day for a whole week. And I jumped in on some of those interviews, and yeah, really cool to connect with all these guys. And then we kicked off the program. And so far the program has run without a hitch. And there was 1 week, I think we took a little step back, a little breather. But, the bottom line is that we are super impressed and super inspired by the outcome of this program. I've been reading some of these threads, and some of these guys have tagged me on some of these threads. So my Twitter is blowing up, and I read through these things and I'm like, well, holy shit, this is a lot of cool stuff, And so for a builder, having people use your tools and further themselves is actually the biggest pat on the back. So thank you all for sticking with us. In session one, I said if you break Increment, you get to keep the pieces. Thankfully there wasn't too much of that, which is very, very positive. And as you guys have seen, we've been fixing bugs left, right, and center. So it was all hands on deck, both from the infrastructure, on the content side. And so I'd like to personally thank Brandon and Luke and the guests who came in and shared their wisdom with us. Some of the stocks they know way too much, way too smart for me. So I still had to take notes and do more research before I could even understand 10% of what they were saying. But that's what this program is. And I think the outcome here speaks for itself. So I'll hand it off to Luke. Thank you once again. And this community, the program is ending, but the community is forever. So stick around in Discord. There's more stuff coming down the pipe. I'm very passionate about this space, and hope to see many of you in person over the coming months. Thanks all.
Awesome. Thank you, Ganesh. I'm just going to share my screen here. Can I see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, awesome. Yeah, I just want to echo what Ganesh said there, and it's really been incredible. It's been felt like I've been in the trenches with all of you for the last 4 weeks, and it's been incredible to get to know you all, get to know what you guys are doing. We have people from all around the space, Web3, Web2. We'll get into a little bit more of that data in the future, but it's been great to hear from all of you guys. All of you guys have helped each other through this program. You've been very responsive, very willing to give feedback, sometimes very harsh, which has been very good for the team. So now let's get into the Data Alchemist Bootcamp closing chapter 1. So I wanted to call it, closing ceremony or so on and so forth, but closing ceremony sounds like something's ending. And there's nothing ending here. We're just going to the next chapter, where we've figured, you guys have gone through and learned a lot of this content. We're going to fix a lot of the bugs you guys have pointed out, and then we're going to continue to ship new products, new content, new resources, everything to help you guys improve. So this is just chapter 1, and we'll get into a little bit of details about that, and then what chapter 2, 3, 4, and so on looks like. So first, some stats. We had about 1,200 applicants. We had about 250 accepted into the boot camp. We had about 125, so half of that completed the boot camp. We never rejected more than probably 5% per module. So this was just drop off from people stopping. You know, we wanted to get as many people through the program as possible. We analyzed stats from 50 chains, 82 dexes, and 46 NFT marketplaces. And in that, we ran 185,000 queries in 4 weeks, which is absolutely incredible. And we analyzed 3+ petabytes of data, which is insane. So to get into to a little bit of like who completed the program. So we had people, you know, no surprise here, most was from Web3, but we had people from Web2 and like a non-technical background as well. And then what areas did people work in? So 50% were analysts. And what surprised me the most was that 40% were actually engineers. And a lot of you guys are engineers, and a lot of you guys loved using Increment. You know, I had a few people say, you know, don't discount this. Yeah, I know this is an analyst product, but please don't discount the engineering use case for engineers, which is, you know, something I didn't really think about, which was, you know, really great insights. We had students, founders, DevOps, and like, you know, people from all walks of life. And then how did people feel if they, you know, could no longer use Increment? This was a test to sort of see, to get a temperature of the room, and about 67% said you'd be very disappointed, which was great signs. And then, you know, a little bit of details about what's next. I'll get into that at the end of the presentation. And 83% of you said you want to continue your growth in Web3 data analytics, which is great to see. A lot of you, you know, 13% said, you know, I'll do it on the side. A lot have day jobs and so on and so forth. So it's really great to see everyone's continuing to stay really keen and really excited about continuing their growth in the space. And then we had an overwhelming amount of you say that you wanted to stay within the Alchemist community because you thought it was a great environment to learn. So, you know, from this, we're definitely going to continue to ship content because that's an overwhelming amount of people that really want to see this, this community continue on. And then getting into a little bit of the guest appearances, Ganesh touched on this. We had 3 people, one Denning, who was a data scientist at 0x Project, who came and talked about everything DEXs, DEX aggregators, and Mev. You know, she is somewhat of a genius, and yeah, I definitely had to do some extra homework to understand a lot of what she was saying. So that was great to pick her brain about everything DEXs. We had Max, who was the analytics and strategy lead at Layer 0. He came and talked about, you know, the multi-chain future, you know, interchain interoperability. That was great. Talked a little bit about how he sees analytics in the Web3 space. And then we had Konstantinos, who was one of the first people on the data science team at Polygon. He came and gave a very practical presentation on how to break into the Web3 data space. You know, he started just where you guys are right now, which was just playing around with some of the analytics products, creating portfolios and dashboards, and then got to the point at where he felt he had that understanding where he could go and start applying to data roles in the space. So that was really great presentations. Next, then what do we cover in the program? So first was the reach, retention, and revenue framework. Now, why was this framework so important? What we see in the space is we see a lot of projects measuring their traction from, you know, these bespoke metrics that are prone to just going up and to the right. And we don't see them really analyzing their product, right? They'll look at something like TVL, right? Or, you know, the monthly active users and so on and so forth. The good thing about reach, retention, and revenue is it forces you into a framework, and it forces you to look at your growth and product metrics and really understand how, you know, your traction. So that was great. And then number 2 was your multi-chain analysis. Now, everything we do at Covalent, the foundation we lay needs to support, you know, 50, 100, you know, multiple 100 chains. So Increment has all of their data tables unified for, DEXs and NFTs, and then your raw data with, the all chains table, which has all of the blocks, transactions and log events data for all of these 50 chains in one table. So this stopped everyone from, having to join and union and multiple CTEs, to find something like sushi swap volume across chain. You need to look at 10 chains, right? You don't want to have to use 20 tables in order to do that. Third was data storytelling. We looked at a lot of really interesting metrics that can really drive your analysis. And then also we dug into, how to storytell with data. We took inspiration from like Pixar and Amazon on how to write threads and tell stories, which was really, really great. Then the data labeling. So you guys dug into a lot of the labeling we created for the DEXs and the NFTs. And that was incredible to see, 80 DEXs in the DEX table, 46 NFT marketplaces, and you guys, pretty much analyzed all of them. So it was great to test that and see how you enjoyed that. So that's what we covered. And in that, we created a lot of really compelling content. So I just want to showcase a bit of the content. There's so much great stuff, but I'll just, we didn't have to go very far to find some of these, some of this analysis. So first, in module 2, we analyzed DEX pairs, and Adam has created an incredible analysis on Joe across 4 pools. We asked for 2 pools and, dot point analysis. And Adamus came out and analyzed 4 pools and then just went, insane with the analysis, reach, retention, and revenue, and made a decision on how to allocate $100,000. And then 0x Data Wolf, an incredible deep dive into DEXs as well. Dove into not just the pairs, but also how DEXs work. Spoke a little bit about Covalent, a word from our sponsor, NordVPN, Covalent. That was a good meme. And then, jumped into research questions and why he picked metrics and the motivation and things like this. So I learned a lot from these pieces. It was great reads. And then in our last module, we analyzed NFT marketplaces. And, some of the highlights here was Fu Lauer. Sorry, I'm probably butchering that, but he dug into a lot of the reach, retention, revenue, and gave a lot of, the why to the reach, the why to the retention, and why to the revenue metrics, which was, great to see. I encourage everyone to go read that. And then Tringer, I saw a lot of traction. I think this may have got retweeted by Trove, and a lot of the Trove influencers and things like this. So a lot of traction here. It was an incredible analysis into Trove. Awesome. So next, some awards. So we saw a lot of people go above and beyond. We had challenges where it was dot point analysis or whatever. And, just a couple charts, couple reach, retention, revenue charts, and people just went crazy and they went above and beyond. So these are some awards to people that went above and beyond. This doesn't include everyone. There's a lot of people that did, but these are just a few awards for those people that stood out. So first one is outstanding community members. First one is Chukeni. He came in, was a little bit new to, blockchain data and analysis, and he grinded and learned it all, and then went and supported everyone else. So he was great help answering questions, helping people out, QAing SQL. It was an incredible help. Second is Brentable. Brentable was like the harsh voice everyone building products needs to hear. He filmed probably 10 or 15 videos about how to improve our UI, how to think about, the user experience and things like this. So that was a great help. We're going to take a lot of that feedback and iterate on the product. So thank you, Brentable. Second is outstanding commitment. Now I had to make an award for S. Hans because she has not missed a single office hours. The one that she did miss was because I messed up the dates, But other than that, she made it to every single office hours. And I think they were like 4 a.m., 4 p.m. for her, so 12 hours apart, and she did not miss a single one. So that was outstanding commitment from her. She made it to more than I did, which was incredible. Third is outstanding content creators. Now, I definitely couldn't give this to one person or two people. I had to give it to all four of you guys, Atomist, OX Data Wolf, CryptoCats, and OX Jembus, because you guys created some awesome content that wasn't even within challenges and the weekly focus. So that was incredible to see you guys going above and beyond with the content. Now, I've spoken a lot about this experience, what we learned and everything like this, but what I want to do is I want to open up the floor to some of the analysts, to some of the data alchemists to answer, how was the experience? What did they like about it? What didn't they? How was the community? How are they going to use these skills and so on and so forth? So to start, we're going to start with OX Gmus. So I'm going to open up the floor here. Let me just find you. I'm just going to unmute you. Hey, Gmus.
Hi, Luke. How are you?
Hey, just I'll go to the first slide and then just let me know when you want to go to the next one, and I'll hand it off to you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, everyone. So yeah, first of all, thank you to Covalent. It is an honor. I can be here delivering like speech here for the closing of the Data Alchemist. So I just have like 3 slides here, so it will not be long. The first thing that I want to say is what I love about the Data Alchemist Boot-Camp. Just to bring the context, my background is from engineering background, and I have no idea about business. So my business knowledge is like a big zero. And then things that I consider most in the crypto before joining Bootcamp is like crypto project must be decentralized, and then zcaching, rollups, L1 alternative, and etc. So previously, I never see the crypto project from the business perspective. So I always see the crypto project from the technology perspective. But after joining the bootcamp, now I understand that running crypto project is like running a business. Sustainable crypto project must have a good reach, retention, and revenue. And so this 3R framework, reach, retention, and revenue, is really awesome. So I love it. So I learned so many things, especially about the business in this framework. So this is really cool. Okay, maybe next, look.
Yep.
And then the second one is what I learned from the Data Alchemist Bootcamp. Actually, we have like 4 modules and probably 4 challenges, but we couldn't finish it, so only 3 modules. But it's still fine, okay? So in the first challenge, it was about GameFi, and it's really cool. I select Stepan, and Stepan is one of the popular move to earn GameFi in the crypto industry. And I also select another Stepan competitor, which is Step App. But the problem was I couldn't get the Step App important contract because it was too early. But that's still fine because, you know, like I learned so many things from this challenge, especially how Stepan made money and how much money that Stepan made. It's really huge. And in fact, the result is only based on the ETH and BSC chain. And you know, like the Stepan native network is actually from Solana. So if I include Solana network, so it's probably really huge money that Stepan made. So building GameFi in crypto industry is really promising, you know. So this is what I learned from this first challenge. And I also did analysis about the FTX meltdown, especially focus on the reach and retention. You can read on my blog or on my Twitter thread. And then the second one is the challenge is about the DEX table. So I did challenge like comparing the ape WETH pair on the Uniswap versus SushiSwap. But the problem here was the result might bias because unfortunately Covalent still has not support for the Uniswap version 3. So and the problem is ape WETH mostly the volume mostly coming from the Uniswap version 3. So whenever Covalent support for Uniswap version 3, I will update the result or maybe make a new post about this one. So this is really cool because, you know, like DEX is the core industry, is the core in the crypto industry, right? So we can do a swap our token through the DEX. And then the last challenge is, the third challenge is about the NFT marketplace analysis. And this is the most excited one from my perspective, because, you know, I'm very bullish on NFT. So I'm NFT guys, actually. I couldn't imagine in the future, you know, like if the all real world asset, they have the NFT version. So it's really cool. You can imagine, like if I, for example, I'm living in the rural area and I own my house and my house certificate is in the form of NFT. And then let's say, look, he is living in the urban area and he owns his house, and then also the NFT form of his house. And we're feeling boring and we want to exchange our house. We can just exchange our NFT, you know, it's really cool. And in this analysis, like I did analysis on the looks rare, and you know, like look rares is the second rank of the NFT marketplace based on the volume. If you look at the NFT scan, the first one is OpenSea, and then the second one is the look rare. But the problem with this look rare is most of the volume only came from two collections, which is MeBits and the Terraform, and it's maybe more than 80%. So this is really unhealthy from my perspective, you know, this is really unhealthy, especially for the NFT sales, right? So this is really unhealthy. And the bad things also, like, you know, look rare is the best place for the worst trading. And this is, I think, this is because the look rates of business model. Like if you do trading on the look rate, you will earn the looks as the reward. And the problem is, if the rewards is greater than the transaction fee, so wealthy wallet, they just do a worse trading between their wallets. So they can gain more rewards, more looks. And in the end, they can just dump the looks token. And I think it's a danger. So yeah, that was what I learned from the challenge. I think next, look.
Yep.
And this is the last one, like what I'm looking forward from Covalent after bootcamp. So the first one is, of course, the launching of the Increment next year. And as hopefully we as the Data Alchemist, we can be the early adapter for this Increment. It's really cool, right? And then the second one might be the remote job board. I think working remotely is really nice, especially working with Covalent, right? And then the third one is challenge and bounties. So I love solving a challenge. And of course, if there is bounties, so it will keep the spirit, right? And then the last one is the continuation of the bootcamp modules. You know, like, to be honest, a little bit upset because we couldn't finish until module 4. Like if I read the module 4 description, it's really cool. We haven't heard about the Covalent infrastructure philosophy, and then class C endpoint, right? So how we use that class C endpoint, and then how we build a custom table, custom views or materials view on top of the Increment. So it will be cool. So if there is any session about this one, so I'm happy to join and to listen. So I think that's all. And you know, I do believe that mostly Data Alchemists who join the bootcamp, I think most of them not have background, not coming from the IT background maybe, but congrats, finally we made it, right? And especially thank you to the mentor, Luke, Brandon, and especially the CEO of the Covalent, Ganesh. So you're really cool guys. You know, like you built so powerful Increment tools, and I know it's not easy to building this kind of tools. Like I couldn't imagine like raw blockchain data, and then you just ingest it in the single table, and then we can just easily query with the where clause to get a chain. And I really love the parameters. Like you know, like just change the chain name and then the date string and aggregation, and the query is really quick. You know, change the parameter and the result is just showing up very quickly. So it's really awesome. Thank you so much. That's all from me. Good job, guys. Good luck for everyone.
Awesome. Thank you. That was great. Jimas, thanks, man. And then moving on, we're going to go to Vlad. So go for it, Vlad. I'm going to give
Yep.
you the floor.
Awesome. Awesome. What's going on? You guys can hear me okay, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, awesome. Yo, I don't have slides, so I apologize about that. So I'm just gonna pretty much like speak from my heart, from my chest here, pretty much. You know, my experience with the Covalent boot camp was just incredible. You know, I actually recently deleted the Instagram app on my phone because it just started to be a huge distraction. So I've been actually just on Twitter more. And you know, I'm scrolling through and I see something about a paid boot camp. And I was like, oh, interesting. You know, I was actually about to apply to another boot camp I was about to pay for. And you know, it's crazy how Covalent came across, because I kind of wanted to get more into background stuff, because I'm a front end developer, really. I like to make things look cool, and so I found that I can code data analytics dashboard through SQL, and the UI is already created for you, the table's already created for you. I didn't have to import any packages or files or anything like that. So that interested me. I jumped into Covalent. I applied to the bootcamp. And I got accepted. Spoke with my guy Brandon over there, which was really cool. And I mean, you know, you really meet these people. You know, you really meet these guys, and that attracted me right away. I was like, this is cool. Like, all right, I'm gonna get on a fast track with this stuff. I'm gonna get my hands on with this stuff. This is not like a course or a tutorial you find on YouTube that you kind of lollygag through. It's like, no, you know, this is an incentive. Go for it and see what you can do. And you know, I like to ship things, and the whole vibe was like ship analytics dashboards every week. And I love that, because there's no better way to build habits than to really just jump in, put your 22 days to build that habit time, and then get it done, you know. And I'm so grateful because I was able to finish 3 modules. I know Jembus was like 4 modules, you know. I was happy with 3 modules, because the first module was a heck of a challenge. You know, I had to I went on almost every office hours that I could in my time zone. And man, you know, Luke was a big help throughout that whole thing. And you know, I understood how to go through SQL queries. You know, I literally didn't know. You guys recommended to do the Code Academy. Check that out real quick just to get like a quick high level overview. I did that, and that helped tremendously moving forward. So I mean, if guys out here are just trying to be like, oh, I don't know if coding is for me, like this is where to be at. Like, you just got to ship things and then learn it. Just get your hands dirty. Don't be afraid. You know, yeah, it just felt amazing being part of the community, really. Everyone was helping you. Everyone was on the same track with you. You know, and it was just a great community, you know. And when I recommend it, I would 100% recommend it. I mean, you know, it's kind of like being in school without being in school. You're kind of at your own pace, but at the same time, you have things to do. And I mean, honestly, if you're really motivated enough, you'll get it done. I mean, learning this, you know, if you're a natural born, like curious learner, this place is the place to be. And I had so much fun. You know, a mentor of mine told me these 2 things before, because I've been involved in business for quite some time, but he said, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. And you had Lucas here, you had Brandon, you had other alchemists with you there. Like, you know, you just hit them up, DM them, tag them in the Discord. And that was just so cool, because you literally met new people. You met really cool friends who have the same passion as you. Because, you know, a lot of us in life, we're kind of like, we have different people around us, but here was a focused group of alchemists. You go to them, ask for help, and you guys talk about the things that you want to talk about, different chains you want to talk about, different marketplaces you want to talk about. Some people have preferences over one token than the other. And so, you know, we had really cool discussions, you know, some of them heated, some of them other different opinions, but at the end of the day, we proved our point with data. And that was the beauty of that all. You know, data doesn't lie, numbers don't lie at the end of the day. And you know, what I liked about this track is that you're building habits. So pretty much like we did this for 3 to 4 weeks, 3 modules, but 4 weeks pretty much. So we put in a whole month of work, just a little bit over a month. And I think that was awesome. You know, we built new habits. We learned how to query on the blockchain, and the whole Increment platform was really awesome. Like, it made it really simple. And I liked using those CTEs, because at first it went over my head, but then when you really built them out, you're like, oh, now I see how these sections work and how they all like interpolate together. And Yeah, I plan to use these skills to further my development career, my professional career. I'm already a business analyst, but in the Web 2 world. So, I've been working full time and then getting this done in the evenings. I'd stay up 4 or 5 hours just to work on this, and also sacrifice evenings to get this done too. So yes, there is a sacrifice, and it was 110% worth it. I really encourage everyone to continue. I'm excited for what's to come next with you guys. Count me into the platform, into the group. I'm definitely going to stay as active as possible there. Ask me any questions, guys, especially on Twitter, on Discord. I'm pretty easy to find. I always have this Playboy Rabbit's Heart NFT, PFP everywhere. So I'm an elite trader on Discord. In real life, my name is Vlad. So it's a pleasure to be with you guys here, and even if you didn't make the challenge, I mean, you probably learned a heck of a lot. So you guys seem to be doing another challenge. I'm all in, count me in. But if you're new and you want to give it another shot, give it another shot, because I mean, these guys are here to help. So shout out to you, Luke. Thanks, Brandon, Ganesh. Sick company, bro. You guys rock. And that's I'm excited for the next one, man. I'm excited. So thanks so much, guys.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that, Vlad. That was amazing, man. I appreciate that. Next, we're going to jump over to Alchemist. Go for it.
Hey guys, yeah, super energy there, Vlad. Love it.
Love that.
Yeah, so first of all, just want to say huge thanks to the team really behind the scenes. Massive props for indexing all of these chains and allowing us to visualize this data so quickly. I mean, you see how powerful the querying tool is. I'm really glad you kept the applications open as long as you did. I only caught wind of this on the last day, so thank you for that. Managed to sneak in right at the end. The experience in general was great. First of all, love the way you guys kind of go about your business with the RR&Rs. I'm a big believer in this kind of business focus for protocols and how protocols should be oriented in this direction. Minimizing emissions, maximizing revenue. So I'm always kind of pushing the real yield narrative. So it's really good to see a framework put in place that kind of guides people towards pushing that out. You broke it down into a really clear, concise way for everyone to understand and implement themselves, which is great. The biggest learning for me, I think, was in week 1, which, as Vlad said, was quite a tough week. But it really enabled me to learn deeper about smart contracts and their events and their logs and really see what's going on behind the scenes, and enabled me to understand one of my favorite protocols much deeper than I had in the past because of that. So that in itself has given me a lot of new ideas for boards which I didn't know were kind of possible before that you can pull out, and it's made my snooping on Etherscan in my general investments and alpha hunting much better as well, being able to get down and dirty that way. Honestly, I wish we spent more time on that kind of blockchains, all chains table, just because there's so much you can see in there. You can get into every little nook and cranny. So I will definitely be diving back into there. Although, hats off to you guys creating those DEX and NFT tables. They're pretty mind-blowing how easy they are to use. Really good to see the way you prompted us with the kind of the tasks and the questions, forcing us to think through our analysis. That was great. And obviously the storytelling part. I myself obviously write a fair bit of content, so it's great to kind of ground myself again, really look at my framework and how I should be doing things. So that was really good. The community itself has been great. Everyone's been super active and super helpful, and it was just generally a good place to hang out, especially in that week 1 where I think a lot of people were getting to grips with what's going on, even if I was waiting for help for my own work from Luke or one of the team. It was just a good place to hang out and help other people as well, just to everyone's learning even while they're waiting kind of thing. So that was great. Everyone kind of troubleshooting, debugging, giving general advice. I would absolutely recommend the platform, especially as, you know, I've tried to dip in and out of June a couple times in the past. Found it a bit difficult without kind of a certain structure in place, but the way you guys laid out your course was super helpful. And I found it super simple, really, even to dive straight away into like a derivative protocol, which probably took me a lot longer than I thought the first week would, but it was really good, super beneficial for me. So really enjoyed that. I will definitely be using these skills more. As I mentioned, I've got a lot of boards planned for protocols I'm personally interested in. Using the RR metrics again and performances, but also looking at, say, the security side, for example, monitoring like time lock contracts and multi-sig activity like that, which I think maybe isn't paid enough attention to. So I'm looking forward to that. But the biggest thing I'm really looking forward to is that API endpoint, really. I used to host quite a lot of on-chain visualizations, but kind of gave it all up because of like the painful full stack work and a lot of back-end cleaning and computation, a lot of cleaning of Etherscan API, full transaction histories, and comparing non-standardized subgraphs of different protocols, trying to compare their revenues. Super, just a lot to do and a lot to handle, working with databases and stuff. So if I can, you know, pull these queries and their tables straight out into a serverless web app, then yeah, that's amazing. So I'm really looking forward to making that possible, which is going to be great. So that's all for me. I'm just super excited to see what you guys pull off next. The only thing I would add is I'm much more of a DeFi bull than an NFT. So I'd love if you guys could create a derivatives table. That would be awesome.
Incredible. Thank you, Atomist. That was some really kind words. And then lastly, we're going to go to Sardius. So I'm going to, I don't think I've unmuted you. There we are.
All right, thanks, Luke.
Easy, man.
Hey, GM Alchemist. I'm grateful to be here. I appreciate the opportunity. So I honestly almost quit the program. So before I, get to how that happened, just like a little bit about my background, I was looking for a challenge and definitely got that. I come from a background in data analysis, and I've been in Web3 in a lot, and I'd say like crypto really in a bunch of different capacities for about 9 years. So I was really trying to like kind of bridge the gap between my like regular background and doing analysis and actually applying that to on-chain stuff, so I just had a lot of stuff going on. I have a consulting business and I also run operations for an impact DAO, and it just, I don't know, I just learned to trust my gut, right? And it looked like way too good of an opportunity to pass up. And yeah, I thought the challenge was great. The program was awesome. I really liked using Increment. I thought that was a really cool tool, and that everything was like integrated, and like a couple of my other alchemists have highlighted. I think a lot of the cool like API stuff coming down the pipe is going to be really cool. So yeah, I kind of got into the program just looking how to improve like my data related skills to provide my like clients with actual like data driven metrics to help them provide them value, and I've been trying to do that with Dune and Flipside on, just kind of on the side, like here and there, and not really in a standardized capacity. And what I really like about the program though is it really like focusing on those RRR metrics, like was a nice like pressure cooker of like how do we like look to provide value for different like Web3 businesses, help them like grow all their metrics. And I thought that was awesome, and I took the opportunity during the program to kind of explore a lot of protocols that I've just been, aping into during the bull market, a lot of stuff on Trader Joe, Quick's Marketplace on Optimism, LP pools on Joe. And it was cool. It was interesting to see stuff that I kind of, witnessed blow up in real time, but it was nice to also see that represented so nicely in data and with visuals. And yeah, the challenge on week 2 of the DEX is I was just running out of time, like with all this different stuff I'm juggling, just taking on way too much. Definitely a good lesson for myself to learn, to get focused on just doing, the key stuff in life, right? But I decided to just keep going and just get a little bit better every day. And, I leaned on the community. It was really great for answering questions and just a lot of cool people to learn from. I feel like there's so many like really talented people. I really learned a lot from y'all's threads, the dashboards that you put together. And it's just cool to meet people in the analytics space. I've been kind of struggling to find that in Web3 for a long time, right? So it's been really cool to meet you guys and to really learn from you, and going forward, I want to continue my Web3, data alchemist journey and deepening my skill set and learn how to like provide value through these data-driven metrics. And I'm looking to incorporate the skills I've learned here in my consulting practice to provide like tangible business value. I focus on helping my clients build Web3 products, and data-driven metrics is only going to take that to the next level. And this has been a big game changer for me, like passing the program, and a big kind of personal hurdle to overcome where I was real down on myself, and I was like, F it, I might as well just submit what I got. But then I actually not only submitted what I got, but I like learned something and exceeded my like boundaries of what I thought I could do. So that was very cool as a personal kind of goal to do. And I just appreciate learning from you guys. Appreciate you, Luke, teaching and the opportunity to use the program. And I'm going to probably get into some bounties next, and I want to keep compounding my skills, and yeah, just look forward to keep learning from everybody, and definitely appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Sardius. Really appreciate that. Thank you, everyone. That was some really great words. Now we're running out of time here, but I'm just going to touch on what's next, right? This has been a question from a few people. And before I jump into what's, more in the longer term, more in the short term, the CQ distributions for completing the program will be over this weekend. So you guys should be seeing that on Monday. Monday morning, all of that should have been distributed. And so it'll be distributed individually. So some people will get it before others. So if you don't have it by Monday, then, message me in the Discord and we can figure out what's happening. Then you all get your certificate of completion in the form of an NFT on Polygon. So we'll mint them on Polygon and we'll send those to your Polygon wallets. And then we'll send those extra NFTs from people who won the awards. We'll mint them on Polygon and send them out as well. So now what's next? So in between, the next cohort, we've mentioned a few times that we're going to run this over and over. The next cohort will probably be next year, Q1, Q2. The dates on a lot of this stuff is still to be determined. A detailed plan will come out for everyone to read and understand that, but that's probably going to be Q1, Q2 next year. And then we're going to have in between that weekly or bi-weekly content, and we're probably going to keep some of the office hours, 1 to 2 a week, for you guys to come ask any questions on the content we produce, the challenges we produce, or even ask about, personal, analysis that you guys are trying to do, away from the challenge and the content and things like that. So that's going to be a resource that we're going to keep live for you guys to use. And then obviously, the Discord will be constantly in the Discord answering any questions you guys might have. And then we'll also be giving you guys early access to some of the product releases, things like new label tables. So we're coming out with, reports.lending, reports.nft market cap, reports.gamify. Adam just mentioned reports.derivative, so we can look into that as well. So these you guys will be able to use and build analytics in all the sectors in the space. Fully cross-chain, same nature as the DEX and NFT sales table. And then in early products as well, you're going to have the Class C endpoints that we touched on. So the queries on Increment, you'll be able to just create an endpoint from that SQL, and you'll be able to use that to hit the Covalent infra in sort of a custom way. We've been building Covalent, the teams have been building Covalent for the last 5 years, and we've been building this infrastructure to enable Class A and Class B endpoints. But, we started to hit a ceiling, and the community wanted to do all of this sort of custom work that we just could not support. So this is, the start of that. Everyone can get in and create custom endpoints. And then once we get the network up and running, these will also be revenue sharing. So that's really exciting as well. Then lastly, the premium SQL-free dashboarding tool. So the nature of what we've built with the unified schemas across multiple chains, you guys touched on this. You know, just have to change like the market, right? For building like an NFT sales volume query. If you want to look at OpenSea on Clayton, then you go and you go market equals OpenSea and then chain equals Clayton. And then just to switch that to Ethereum, you just need to change Clayton for Ethereum. So we can actually build a tool on top that's actually SQL free. So you can go and you can click, I want to sum the NFT sales for OpenSea on Clayton over the last 30 days. You can make those clicks and suddenly you have a beautiful chart that you guys can curate dashboards and, you know, analytics and everything like this. So there's a lot of exciting stuff coming down the pipeline. We'll have some detailed plans with dates and content and things like this coming out. So just watch the Discord for all of that. But that's everything on the agenda today. So I just want to finish by saying congratulations to everyone. It's been an incredible journey, one that I will not forget. You know, this is the first time we've done something like this, and it was absolutely incredible. And we want to continue to curate this community, you know, because it is the strongest community in the space today. So it's been awesome meeting everyone, and I'll continue to see you in the Discord and see you in chapter 2, chapter 3, and beyond.